Thank you, friend. Shabbat Shalom, and greetings to you all. Happy Canada Day, the folks of the Great White North. Although these days that may sound a little like white privilege, it's not. It's an apt description of what can be like a frozen tundra for many months of the year. Shortly thereafter, of course, is the U.S. birthday. Celebration of the founding of another great nation, land of the free, home of the brave, and these twin celebrations tend to go on for a little longer than the day they each represent. So party, everyone. It's been a long time. It's my party, and I'll cry if I want to. Cry if I want to. Cry if I want to. You would cry too if it happened to you. Now, if you do cry, make them tears of joy. These two great countries are twins, not identical, not quite fraternal, but close, who hold or held an annual friendship festival celebrating these two events. Now, we all pretend the war between Canada and the U.S., the War of 1812, didn't really amount to more than brothers temporarily fighting. Not the Cain and Abel type of brothers or Jacob and Esau type of brothers. But these two countries share so much. They share the longest undefended border in the world, albeit closed now. And I venture to say they share elements of the same soul. Like people, countries have souls. They have nefesh, ruach, neshama, body, mind, and spirit. They stand as reminders. We should all celebrate independence. Independence from fear. Freedom was and is the great gift from God, celebrated annually. Now, shortly, there's going to be a couple of religious holy days coming up, and we're going to talk about them over the next week or two. One, a day of darkness and fear that then moves within a week into the day of love. Now, the roller coaster of emotions that these represent are the emotions that we all ride. Speaking of emotions, when we gathered for the season change a few weeks back, there seemed to be a concurrence of people who all seemed to be going through a spell of atelophobia, which is the fear of not being good enough. And that's something so many seem to suffer from. Well, friends, stop judging yourself so hard. Be kind, be fair. We're going to be reading about fairness this week. You're all more than good enough. You're all great. Just be the best you can. Change your little corner of the universe, and you change the parts all around you. That is how worlds change. I'm so pleased the couples are changing their lives. They're saying enough already. They're getting married again. So many had put their weddings and lives on hold, and now they are emerging from their cocoons, transforming their worlds. And I'm honored to be a part of that. Thank you, all of you. It's a time for couples to come together with their families and friends in the celebration of special moments in time. Just as we come together in special moments of time, when we gather together as a collective consciousness of seekers showing faith, any and all faith, love, any and all love, as a community, a chavur of fellowship, expressing our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes that unites us all. This community house of spirit, Beth Ruach, sharing and bringing light, keeping fear at bay. So once again, please do go ahead. Invite everybody in, some physically, the rest digitally, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, to gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov. Come together. Hine Matov. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. Let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is your setting aside a little bit of sacred time in your sacred space to honor and converse with whoever, whatever you happen to believe in. It is a part of your kavanah, your intention that you put out to the universe. It's your goodwill. Let's take some time now to send some of that goodwill, some light, and some healing out to whoever you know that needs it. Healing and renewal for everybody. It flows through space, finding those in need. So send it out. For those you know and for the souls and spirits of everybody you love. So think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love or just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names, not just for people. It's for our pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the world. The tikkun olam that's part of our spiritual genetic makeup. We have to help heal the world. It's not a job for us to complete. It is an ongoing one, but it's something we all have to participate in. Always has. And we each have to do our part. Part of that healing is when we send thoughts and energy for health and renewal and goodwill for everybody. They don't have to be sick. It's for those in our hearts and our minds. Tom and Marianne. For Lindsay and Mark, whose wedding has been over a year in coming. For Jasmina. Claudia, for Marco, Kay, Dave. For Connie, for Ken. For Adrian and Frank. For Jim. For Mary and Matt, and for Ivan. For Kevin, for Anne. For Terry. Dear sweet Aurelia Pepe. My friend Joe's mother-in-law, who wouldn't ask for anyone to trouble themselves. It's not trouble, my friend. It is the secret nature of everybody to help, to heal, to share. Let's also all pray for the bee. Friends, it is the kindness, the healing wishes, goodwill, and love we all send out. It just circles the world finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care. Because the world is a world of spirit. And spirit, my friends, never dies. Avotenu Makor Chabracha Limotenu. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage. Make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body. The renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Misha Barak, let us all have our spirits renewed, because this is the great prayer for healing, which we call upon God to heal as He's healed before. Misha Barak, may He who blessed. Because all healing is a blessing. Let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. I hope you all got a chance to read the story of Balaam and his ass last week. And when you found yourself laughing, you're not too upset with yourself for daring to find humor in the Bible. Well, we're now going from humor to temporary revelation as we read Pinchas. Now, we're near the end of this book. Next week, we actually finish the book of Numbers with a small two-part reading. It might well have actually been the end of the original Torah. Genesis, man's fall from grace into the pit of despair and fear, ending with the search for freedom. Exodus, the climb back up, man's attempt to escape, the leaving fear behind, reaching for a promised land of milk and honey that exists within every man, woman, and child. Then this book of Numbers, the story of the journey through the wilderness, the journey we all take. Leviticus was a handbook for the priests. And in a few weeks, we begin Deuteronomy, known as the Little Torah, the retelling of the law. It's like a Reader's Digest version of key events comprised primarily of the great farewell address of Moses. So give a sigh of relief. You're almost done, and I'm so appreciative that you came along on this journey with me. Now, once again, we have an interesting reading. And we know we're at the end because we have Moses passing the baton of leadership to Joshua. And we get a run-through of every holiday's offering, beginning with the daily holidays, then the Sabbath, which is the weekly, the monthly, which is the new moon, then the holidays through the year, Passover, the annual festival of freedom, Shavuot, the festival of weeks, festival of trumpets, which is the first day of the 7th month, the unnamed holiday, which became Rosh Hashanah, and then the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. And finally, the festival of booths, each with its brief sacrificial instruction, each in order. But there are a few things to note for this week, as there are every week. You're going to read about justification of position of authority and of sanctioned hatred, which I know seems like an anathema. There will be a complete change in status and succession, which unfortunately somehow did not hold up over time. Now, just prior to this parsha beginning, and it begins with the ending of an important episode that gives context and structure to this from last week's reading, and that occurred in Numbers 25:8. And he came after the Israelite man to the enclosure and ran the two of them through, the Israelite man and the woman to her stomach, and the plague was halted from the children of Israel. Now that was like one of the old serialized shows before cable and downloading, when an incident marks something that would not be realized till the following episode. And remember that the visions in the Bible came hundreds of years after the writing, maybe by someone who anticipated serialized stories. So what happened was Pinchas, or Phineas in Greek, found an Israelite man and a Moabite or Midianite woman having sex in the tabernacle, and he kills them. Now, that incident is the real beginning of this week's episode, but we read it like last week as like a throwaway part. And here is one of those parts where if you do not understand biblical Hebrew, and not too many people do, you miss some of the jokes in translation. See, when Pinchas stabs the couple, he runs a spear through them, and through the woman's belly and through her sexual organs. And the words used are all plays on the word kubah. The kubah was a tent used to house sacred objects, like the objects of the tabernacle, the ark, the menorah. And like the tabernacle, it was made of red leather. It also ties in with the Arabic kubah, which was also a red leather tent used for sexual purposes. In fact, there was a mini-series done based on the book The Red Tent, a feminist-styled novel based on the life of Jacob's one daughter, Dinah. He met Marmalade down in old New Orleans, strutting her stuff on the street. She said, "Hello, Joe, you want to give it a go? Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? Voulez-vous avec moi?" Now, the further tie into the story is the word for belly, which is kebah. So we have kuba, kubeh, and kebah. Guess you had to be there. Now, his reward for running these two through with a spear is given in Numbers 25:11. Pinchas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, so we now know his lineage, has turned back my fury from the children of Israel by his carrying out my jealousy among them, so I didn't finish the children of Israel in my jealousy. Therefore, say, here, I'm giving him my covenant of peace. It shall be his and his seeds after him, a covenant of eternal priesthood, because he was jealous for his God and he made atonement for the children of Israel. His reward is eternal priesthood for his family. But that had already been promised. We saw that a few weeks ago during the Korah and Dathan insurrections. Kind of a disappointment to be given as a reward what you already had. It also furthers the acceptable hate for the nation involved, the Midianites. They are seen as worthy of destruction, and yet this is not a behavior we find acceptable. Painting an entire nation as an enemy, isn't that what we fight so hard against? So here we have, one individual will control now forever who's going to be priest. And we have sanctioned hatred against an entire nation. It just goes against everything. And because this is the book of Numbers, we then immediately get another census out of the blue. Numbers 26:51. These are the counts of the children of Israel, 601,730. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "The land shall be distributed to these as a legacy with the number of names." Now we know why the census was so important. Land distribution. And of course, with the Jubilee rules, that every 50 years the land goes back to these original families. And yet, Numbers 26:64, there was not a man among these from the counts of Moses and Aaron the priest who counted the children of Israel in the wilderness of Sinai. These people won't be getting the land. They'll all be dead. It is their children who will be inheriting the land when they get to the promised land. Now, we're also told, again, almost as a throw-out line, but not really. There are no throw-out lines. Numbers 26:33. And Zelophehad, son of Hepher, had no sons, just daughters. Okay, the hackles on the back of your neck tell you this isn't said for nothing. And it's not. Numbers 27:1. And the daughters of Zelophehad, son of Hepher, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, son of the families of Manasseh, son of Joseph, came forward. Well, that's quite the lineage. He may not be well known, but his daughters should be. They changed history. Okay, it kind of got changed back, but their impact must not be underestimated. I am woman. Hear me roar. The number's too big to ignore. And I know too much to go back and pretend. 'Cause I've heard it all before. I've been there on the floor. No one's ever gonna keep me down again. Numbers 27:2, and they stood in front of Moses. front of Eleazar the priest and in front of the chieftains and all the congregation at the entrance of the tent of meeting, saying, Our father died in the wilderness, and he wasn't among the congregation who were gathered against the Lord and Korah's congregation. Rather, he died through his own sin, and he had no sons. Why should our father's name be subtracted from among his family because he didn't have a son? Give us a possession among our father's brothers. The nerve of these women, expecting a share of their father's property, expecting to inherit his land so it doesn't go to others. Well, Moses and the priests have to go talk about it. Moses, of course, has to go meet with God and ask God his opinion. Numbers 27:6. And the Lord said to Moses, saying, Zelophehad's daughters speak right. You shall give them a possession for a legacy among their father's brothers, and you shall pass their father's legacy to them. And you shall speak to the children of Israel, saying, A man who will die and not have a son, you shall pass his legacy to his daughter. Wow, this is about fairness. And it might have come as a bit of a shock. But this judgment is an important step in the development of women's rights. But its message is mixed. On the one hand, it says that women can inherit property, and the right of inheritance precedes the right of their father's male siblings or any other male relatives who are more distantly related to their father than the women themselves. But on the other hand, this applies only if their father had no sons. If a father has even one son and 10 daughters, the son inherits the family land. Now, this matter of women's inheritance will become even more complex in the last chapter of Numbers next week. But it was a big step. Remember, friends, social transformations take time. Generations, centuries, even millennia. The Torah does not command a revolution in the status of women. Instead, it provides for steps, such as this one, which in the short run establish that women do have rights in an era where women had no rights, and which ultimately participated in the development of women's rights more generally. We can choose to praise the Bible for how far it went, or we can be critical and say that it didn't go farther. Now, these might be small steps, but small steps forward get you much closer to your goal. And as a very wise owl once said, hey, you got to put down the ducky if you want to play the saxophone. It was a start. It was an important start that doesn't fully follow through with its promise. But you can't always get what you want. I saw her today at the reception. A glass of wine in her hand. I knew she would meet her connection. At her feet was a footloose man. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometime, you'll find you get what you need. You know, you most certainly do. You get what you need. Yes, the world is sacred, so is everything in it, my friends. Express your gratitude. Light a candle. Make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone, and end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we are a community. We learn together, we celebrate each other, we love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally, so let's send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. And please do. Learn to forgive and learn to love. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Take advantage of the time you have and enjoy your journey, because we take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our effort to love, to share, to care. So please do love. Now, bless you all. Have a fantastic week. A week of love and light, a week of peace, a week of miracles. Examine your intentions and use them to imprint your will on the universe, because we set in motion everything that happens in our lives. It's our intention, our kavana, our cause, our effect. Everything is linked. As I said, you always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what is good and bad, so acknowledge what you've done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you've wronged. Ask forgiveness, but do so with sincerity, accountability, and vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people in the world just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? Because if you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So do not stop your journey. Do not stop moving towards your promised land. Keep on dreaming. Keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching, keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear, follow love. It's always in front of you. And remember to have faith, an unwavering adherence to principle, just as I have faith in the principle of love in all of you. Act with purity of heart and mind. Despise none, defraud none, hate none. Cherish all. Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all people know peace in this year, and may you nurture kindness and love everywhere you go. Work to be present in the body. Expand the heart, quiet the mind, because the deepest source of real power lies in consciousness and your ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. So make the most of your time in this life. Continue to touch and transform lives around you, because you're never alone. You're forever blessed and have the ability to bring blessings to everybody you meet, health, love, and renewal to everybody you come across. We're all energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. Your words are your power to transform, to love, to bless. So be generous. Bless others and bless yourself, and love with the heart, because we're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear, forgiveness, not anger. And be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you, whether you know it or not. And continue to explore faith and belief and what they mean to you. And never accept shame as a natural state, because whatever you feel, others have felt. Whatever you've experienced, others have too. We share together. We learn together. We help each other. We are each of us trying to find love and acceptance and support. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives, so find them. Tell them what they mean, and remember, you're never alone on your journey to your promised land. Keep forgiving those you need to forgive, and keep asking forgiveness from those you need to ask forgiveness of. Continue to ask why. Continue to honor and elevate all the souls and spirits of those who came before. And remember, it might take time, but time never stands still. And the times, they're always changing. The line, it is drawn. The curse, it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast. As the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading. And the first one now will later be last. For the times, they are a-changing. Yes, my friends, the times, they are a-changing. They always are. Always around you, the times are changing. So thank you for joining me. Keep sharing the light, practice forgiveness. Be thankful, be gracious, be kind, be loving. Believe in yourself, and continue to spread just a little goodwill to the world, and continue to be the miracle in somebody's life. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care.